Welcome to this episode of Lagnapod. I am your host, Scott Johnson. I'm here with my fellow writers in crime. Go around the table here.
This is Grant McLaughlin.
Kyle Hemrick.
Tommy Hicks.
All right, we've got a wonderful, scrappy crew here.
We like to punch above our weight, that's for sure.
Yep, they're letting the inmates run the asylum here. So
The elves are running the North Pole.
Santa has got a brand new bag.
Santa's out of the workshop.
Yep, there you go.
We don't know where he's gone, but we're here.
When Santa's away, the elves will play.
And we've got the news.
We got the news. All right. Speaking of news, a whole bunch has happened in the last week. We kind of scrambling to kind of keep up here, but Kyle, you kind of updated us this morning on some statewide political developments in the lieutenant governor's race.
That's right. Mobile's A.J. McCarron, who was a quarterback for the Crimson Tide from 2009 to 2013, is out of the lieutenant governor's race. He announced this morning. He said that there's a new football opportunity that has come up for him, and because of that, he is going to pull out of the lieutenant governor's race and dedicate his time fully to football.
Now, another football opportunity, is this another backup quarterback position, or what are we doing here?
I'm not sure. There's been some speculation that he could be taking a coaching job with some sort of football team in Birmingham. That's kind of been the chatter that's going around. But the main thing here is he is out of the race. He launched his campaign in October. He said he wanted to get involved in politics after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. And he also said that when Tommy Tuberville was the governor, his words, that he would be his quarterback for his conservative outsider agenda.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
not to be.
Yeah, I'm. It's kind of too early in the race to even have moved the needle one way or the other. But I kind of am thankful that I might evade some of the football terminology and analogies that were on our way. Yeah.
There's definitely going to be a lot less of that. Coach Governor Tommy Tuberville is still going to lean into it, I'm afraid, but we will have one less football metaphor to go around this campaign season.
Yeah, I will say
actually too, because
go.
Feinbaum has also announced that he is not going to seek the Senate race.
That's true. That was last week or sometime.
The past couple of days.
Because I wrote that story too. Yeah.
Yeah. Interestingly, both of them said that the Kirk assassination kind of drove them into making those kind of preliminary plans.
Mm-hmm.
But
not to be.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of, not to get ahead of ourselves, but maybe I was wondering if he maybe got called up to the Colts to, one more hoorah in the NFL.
Oh yeah, to join Phillip.
Yeah, but we'll talk about that later in the next section. McCarron, he came out. I think that his announcement was, right on it was only on Facebook, I think.
Yeah, and he ran a pretty social media heavy campaign here.
Yeah, he kind of got punched in the teeth right on the get go, and I kind of been scratching my head about that since it happened. I didn't really feel like he was done right there, because almost as soon as he announced, there was a report out that he had just registered to vote like a week or so before.
That he had never voted prior to that.
Yeah, and
that's what was claimed.
And the issue was, I've been scratching my head over with that is I don't understand how anybody got that information. And the only way I could think of somebody getting that information is from the Secretary of State's office, who, is his opponent. And
Wes Allen is running in the race as well.
I'm not accusing Wes Allen of doing anything, but the connections there are just like, well, how does someone get that info? If you're not familiar, getting someone's voting history like that is not easy. Unless you just straight up ask them and they tell you. And, you can tell if somebody was registered to vote. You could tell if they voted in a primary. But to know those specifics, it was just very odd. And I still don't know how that happened or how that report came out, but I thought it was kind of a punch in the teeth there.
And I think his campaign said to the effect, this makes him the ultimate outsider candidate.
Sure.
So they kind of leaned into it there, but now they've leaned out of it.
And,
I mean, this was something that I saw on a lot of his socials, was he didn't really have a lot of political statements as much as, say, a lot of statements about football across his socials and on his campaign accounts. Is that right?
Well, I mean,
There
I think
a good bit of football.
Yeah. I mean, from what I
posts,
understand,
but-
AJ McCarron's a great guy. But, it is kind of, it's, I can't imagine how difficult it is to get out there and rebrand yourself and try and, jump into something you've never been in before. So,
he said he might run again for something later.
Yeah, there you
Down the road, he might get back into politics. So,
yeah,
we might not have seen the last of it.
we might see a return of the McCarron. All right, moving right along the political realm. Grant, you had an interesting report post this morning with a longtime and very popular state senator, Chris Elliott. What was going on?
Yeah, so God, it was actually kind of funny because when Monday rolled around, as it always unfortunately does, I got this release that Chris Elliott had been endorsed by all 14 mayors of Baldwin County, and my first thought was, I didn't even think all the Baldwin mayors were in his district, and I was like, okay. So little time later, I'm starting to get messages and calls from people around the county that might not have been entirely true, and that some people had been mistakenly added to the list and they were upset about it. So I, yesterday, went about the task of calling every mayor in Baldwin County, or at least messaging every mayor in Baldwin County, and talked to several mayors who were erroneously added to that list of endorsements. And kind of just what had happened is he was at a mayor's event not too long ago in Robertsdale, and he asked people if they wanted to endorse him to hop in a picture with him. And then a couple other people, it being a political event, and a picture and a politician kind of go hand in hand. So a lot of other people jumped in, and they didn't know what it was for. And that was pretty much the story.
Now just
interestingly, Chris has denied that this has happened. And a couple of people who've started commenting on the story are wondering if some of these mayors just changed their minds and didn't want to be on the record as being for Chris.
Yeah, and some said that they are not even endorsing anybody. No one has actually gone on the record saying that they're not endorsing.
I would say that everyone who I talked to who is not endorsing Chris has not endorsed anyone.
Yeah.
And said that they either plan to in the future or they don't plan to at all.
Yeah. And then for Chris's part, he says he claims the opposite. He says that he did get an affirmative from each of those mayors before putting out the announcement. So
it's interesting because one of these mayors, Ruthie Campbell of Robertsdale, if I remember correctly, she's asking Chris to issue a correction to his original press release. So that'll be interesting. I've always kind of shied away from a bunch of endorsement stories, but this one was certainly a little more interesting than your boilerplate, endorsement story. That's for sure.
Now, who was the Robertsdale mayor?
Ruthie Campbell.
Oh, Robertsdale mayor is going to ask for a correction on that.
Yeah, she said, she told us on the record that she plans to ask him for a correction.
Interesting.
Whether that, I guess I'll just have to kind of keep a beat on it, see if that happens.
Yeah, interesting. All right, and then just in wrapping up here in this first part, we actually as a team went out and did a story on new data on caseloads and judicial needs for Mobile and Baldwin County. Actually, this stems from reports on statewide caseloads. Now, there's a complicated formula that they do every year based on the minutes. Actually, they do a whole survey. They do minutes worked, and judges participate. I think they had 80% of the state's judges actually participate in this study. They track, for 1 month, how much time in minutes they devote to certain cases and types of cases. At the end, they create this huge report, and basically then they evaluate and aggregate numbers on how many judges and a community and a circuit actually needs, and it's actually a really hard process to either get judges added or get judges relocated from one district to another, because you can only have a set amount. So you have to actually have a legislative act to add additional ones, or you can relocate them. Relocating is a very complicated and contentious process. I think the last relocation was a Jefferson County judge seat to Madison County, and that was a very ugly process from what I understand.
Yeah.
So
I'm kind of curious though, the judicial redistricting or the adding of judges, is that something that the Alabama legislature has to do after a census?
No, it's not connected to any census. It's all based on rolling numbers, and we actually had the Chief Justice Sarah Stewart, who took office earlier this year. She was a former Mobile County Circuit judge and a Mobile native, but not native, but she lives here in Mobile. But anyway, so she took over, and then she's been really devoted to trying to make this process very clear, transparent, and straightforward. She said in the past that after these numbers come out, there's some readjusting or some reallocating of how those numbers put together, and it's been kind of a weird thing that a lot of judges have questioned. But now that these new numbers are out, basically it shows, long story short, it shows that Mobile needs 4 more circuit judges on top of the 11 we already have. It shows that Baldwin County needs 2 more circuit judges on top of the
6.
Well, yeah, I guess, but they have 6 now because they already had 1 added, so they only need 1 more. But they need 2 more. I'm blowing this up.
So they need 1 more based on the amount of judges that were currently sitting on a bench.
Okay.
So we will need more, and that number is honestly pretty fluid because unlike Mobile County, Baldwin is the 7th fastest growing county in the nation, and if Judge Clark Stankowski is to be believed, and I think he might be in this situation, we're gaining like 20 people a day.
Yeah.
And not all of them are saints. So it's very likely our caseload in Baldwin County will balloon faster than our ability to get more judges. So it's back to the legislature.
Now Mobile County actually has the largest caseload and actually clears the most cases in the state. Kyle, you spoke with the presiding judge, Wes Pipes. What did he have to say?
He said, yes, we absolutely do need more judges here. There are, I'm trying to remember.
11 circuit judges.
11 circuit judges, and that we need 4 more.
Yep.
And he said that, if those were to drop out of the sky and onto the 6th, then I believe the 7th floor is a government plaza, he would know exactly where to put them.
Great.
Strickland Youth Center, and then we would create some special dockets. He said that the judges in Mobile County are swamped. He actually said that we could use more district court judges too, saying that because the report said that we actually have, I think, 2 more judges than the state calculated we would need.
1.5, but who's counting?
Judge Pipe said that we just need more judges.
Yeah.
Period. We have a lot of cases, and we need the help.
Yep. Another thing that's interesting to that, I spoke with District Attorney Keith Blackwood, and if you're adding more judges, you're going to need more prosecutors. He's actually been in the process of going to the legislature with his needs for funding. I think he's proposed an additional $5 million to his budget. He's only getting $1.5 million right now from the state. Most of his funding comes from the county, so he needs about $5 million to actually fully fund and fully staff his office with prosecutors. I think he says he needs 30 more assistant district attorneys.
It's not the only ones with money problems either. Yep. Baldwin County is very quickly running out of room to to have these, court cases.
Yep.
They're regularly using satellite campuses to hold court, and Stankowski is, I wouldn't say desperate, but he's getting there in terms of either the legislature or the county doing something about giving them more court space.
Yeah, and this is really interesting too because in 2023 we actually got more judges put on. Mobile County was actually asking for two more circuit judges at the time, which would have been, now looking at the need we have of we need 4. Being only having 2 extra would have been a great thing right about now. So the with the 2023 law that passed adding those judges, there was a 4-year moratorium on reallocating and adding any. I think reallocation was the only thing. But so I don't think we should expect to see any kind of bills getting presented that would add anything this next session. I think we're going to have to wait for that in 2027. All right, but with that, we're going to just transition over to sports with Tommy Hicks. And we're back, and this go around, we're going with sports with Tommy Hicks. Tommy, we had a local familiar face show up in Indiana.
Yeah. Phillip Rivers, the St. Michael head coach, was called out of retirement to return to the NFL with the Indianapolis Colts, the team he played his last season with. He played 17 seasons in the NFL, 16 with the San Diego / Los Angeles Chargers. And his last season was with the Colts. They had a rash of quarterback injuries from their starter to their backup, which is another Fairhope resident, Riley Leonard, to their signee from the draft, and Anthony Richardson was already on injured reserve. So they were in a little pickle, but he and the Indianapolis head coach Stricken knew each other from the time he was the offensive coordinator and quarterbacks coach for Chargers. Now he's the head coach at the Colts. They have familiarity, and they made a phone call, and ever the competitive person that he is, Phillip Rivers said, "Heck yeah, let's go." And he did not do a bad job. I mean, the numbers were not huge. He was, I think, 18 of 27 for 120 yards.
He got a touchdown.
1 touchdown,
awesome.
8-yard touchdown pass, the only touchdown in the game.
Yeah. I mean, and mind you, the Seahawks had only allowed 9 points in the last 3 games.
Yeah, so. I mean, against that defense, that's pretty impressive. And they had the lead with 1:18 left.
Yeah.
And then
made a 54-yard punt or something.
56-yard field goal at the end to beat them.
Sorry, kid.
They had made like a 56-yarder to, along the way as well. The Colts had. So, really good game. They were in it. They've already announced he's going to be the starting quarterback against the 49ers this week, another good team. So it'll be interesting to see how any improvements that he might make from the first week to the second, after he celebrated his 44th birthday last Monday when they made the phone call, when he actually did the workout, was on his birthday, his 44th birthday. So really interesting. I mean, it was cool. I went to a watch party in Fairhope that the team had at a Mexican restaurant, watching him. The kids went nuts when he was on there. And then they showed his son Gunner, who is the top quarterback prospect in the state for the class of 27.
Mm-hmm.
They showed Gunner on TV, and players went nuts again. That's my quarterback. That's Gunner. And so it was a really cool experience. So it'll be interesting to see how the rest of the season unfolds.
Yeah, it's I'm going to be excited to see him again on the 49ers. Now, is he going to have his little picture pop up at the bottom? At the beginning of the game where they read off their names and they say where they're from.
Yeah, that might be. You might have that with
Phillip Rivers, St. Michael.
Phillip Rivers, St. Michael Catholic.
Yeah.
Fairhope, Alabama.
And tonight we got a game, the 68 Ventures Bowl.
Yep.
I know this is going to post the Thursday, so it all happened last night. But who's showing up here in Mobile?
Yeah, we're going to have Louisiana against Delaware. Louisiana's a Sun Belt school, obviously. They played here once before. Delaware, this is their first ever bowl game. They were a FCS team for years, very successful, won a national championship, played in 3 other title games, I believe, during their stretch there. They made 18 different playoff appearances, so very successful at the FCS level. They are in their transition period, playing in Conference USA, but picked up 6 wins, became bowl eligible, and got their opportunity to come down here. They're all geeked up, especially with the weather coming back to more than what we're used to this time of year.
I can't imagine
not as cold. They got to be pretty happy.
Yeah, I can only imagine it's a lot colder in Delaware right now.
Yep. But it's going to be an interesting matchup, and I know the Delaware people are really looking forward to this game just because of what it means for them.
How often do you get players who will show up in the 68 Ventures Bowl and then show up in the Senior Bowl too?
Yeah, you get that a lot. I mean, we're even back in the beginning, LaDainian Tomlinson, when he was at TCU. At TCU, he ended up playing here twice and then played in the Senior Bowl. He played 2 bowl games here, played in the Senior Bowl here. You get a lot of those guys that come through, so it'll be interesting to see if no one from those 2 teams is currently listed. The Senior Bowl, if you go to seniorbowl.com, you can find the list of players that have accepted invitations. Something really to talk about. 77 guys as of Wednesday have accepted their invitations. 5 from Alabama: Jam Miller, the running back; Jeremy Bernard, the wide receiver; Tim Kennan, the 3rd defensive lineman; Deontay Lawson played at Mobile Christian, linebacker, and Justin Jefferson, a linebacker. They are all have accepted their invitations. Auburn's represented by Jeremiah Wright, offensive lineman, and Kieran Crawford, the outside linebacker. 2 other local guys have accepted invitations. Colin Lacey, who had started at South Alabama's wide receiver, kick returner, now at Louisville. He's coming to the game. He had played at Faith Academy, and then Lee Hunter, who had played at Blount and was at Auburn for a while, and then UCF, is currently on Texas Tech. He's in the playoffs, so they're both coming. Diego Pavia, the quarterback, has accepted his invitation.
I might just show up to watch Pavia.
Or show up to boo him. A lot of people not really happy with his reaction post-Heisman announcement. So it'll be interesting to see how people treat him when he gets here.
Yeah. I don't think he's 6 foot.
He's definitely not. He's closer to 5 foot than 6 foot, I would think.
All right. And we got the playoff games on Saturday. You mentioned we have 4 games going.
Yeah, well, actually Friday. Friday we'll start at Alabama. That's the one that's going to matter. Alabama at Oklahoma is Friday night. The winner gets Indiana. Not a good choice, not a good thing, but we'll see how it works out. James Madison is on Saturday. You got James Madison at Oregon. That winner gets Texas Tech. You got Tulane at Ole Miss. That winner gets your Dogs of Georgia.
I'm not going to bark for everyone's sake.
And then Miami at Texas A&M. That winner will get Ohio State in the second round.
Oh, awesome. Have you filled out a bracket, a playoff bracket?
I have not filled out a playoff bracket.
People are doing that now, apparently. So you can now, just like the March Madness, now that you have 12 playoff teams, they're filling out playoff brackets.
Okay.
Folks will gamble on anything, won't they?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I bet you they will.
Ah, perfect.
See what I said there?
Meet me after this.
See what I did there?
All right. Real quick, Tommy, next year, Super 7. You just laying out the timeline. It's going to be a pretty packed time of year this time next year.
This place is going to be jumping at this time of year next year. The Super 7, the Alabama High School Athletic Association State Championship Games, will be here for the first time. And for the first time ever, it'll be a 4-day event instead of a 3-day, which is what it has been. So it'll be Wednesday through a Saturday event. The folks in South Alabama that run the stadium are going to be quite busy. They'll have the Super 7 for 4 days. That will end on a Saturday. Then on the next Friday, the following Friday, you'll have the North-South All-Star game with the Alabama High School Athletic Association. On that Saturday, the following day, there will be the Alabama-Mississippi High School All-Star game. And then if the current calendar holds for bowls, you will have the 68 Ventures Bowl at that stadium on the Wednesday following that. So really busy. And then after that, of course, there's a couple of weeks off, and then the Senior Bowl comes to town. So
Wow.
It'll be quite a busy little schedule for the folks in South Alabama, but really a lot of good opportunities for football fans in this area.
It's going to be bumping. Let's go.
Yep.
The Lagnapod is a Something Extra publishing production. Executive producers are Rob Holbert and Ashley Trask. Music is by Some Pulse Sounds and Electro Animals. Only subscribers like you have access to this podcast. Tell your friends they can sign up at my.lanyapmobile.com. For advertising opportunities, please call 251-450-4466.